And what better way to start the Christmas celebrations is with mulled wine and decorating Christmas cakes. I've already heated up my mulled wine in a pan with some slices of orange, and I was told that amaretto would make mulled wine taste even better. Is this a good idea, or is this just a surefire way to get really drunk? I think a shot will be enough. We'll just give it a little sugar around. How does it taste? Woohoo! Oh, that is everything. Cheers! Welcome to MoggyBoxCraft. I'm Deborah, and today we are decorating Christmas cakes and drinking. What could possibly go wrong? Probably a lot. So today we are going to be decorating Christmas cakes. Well, one Christmas cake, because I think I've only got enough marzipan for one cake. And we don't want to be spreading the marzipan too thin, do we? Absolutely not. So, I made these Christmas cakes back in September. I've made 2 this year. If you'd like to see the recipe and how I made these Christmas cakes, I'll put a link up here and in the description box below. They have been stored in this Tupperware box. And yes, they are living with a bottle of spiced rum. Because every probably 6 weeks, just opened up the parchment, drizzled a little bit of this on, because I could. I don't really have any other reason. I have 2 cakes. Let's see. Oh, yes. Just gonna chop off the ends of the cake so it looks a little bit nicer, makes it a little bit easier to ice. Oh, that looks so good, doesn't it? So just gonna chop up these endy bits, pop them in some Tupperware, and we'll eat these later. Chico, what are you up to? Sultanas are not for doggies. No. So let's pop the cake out the way for the moment. I'm going to talk you through everything you're going to need as we're doing the video. I hope that is helpful. If not, get yourself a drink and just enjoy it. Wow, that's a little bit too tasty. First thing we're going to need is marzipan. Golden marzipan. Just take a sprinkling of flour. We've got our marzipan. Our hands are clean. Got a little bit of flour on my board. Icing sugar would do as well. Right, let's get this marzipan rolled out. Try not to let your marzipan stick to your board. I like to flip my marzipan every now and again. But roll your marzipan out with your roller pin until it's about, well, you don't want your marzipan too thin. Well, I certainly don't want the marzipan too thin. But it's got to be big enough to cover the top of the cake and the sides. Oh no! That was close. I was going to stick to the board there. So I think our marzipan is rolled out well enough. I'm going to take some apricot jam now, heat it up in this tiny dish, and then brush it onto the cake using a pastry brush. Pop some in this dish, heat it up. Using a pastry brush, I'm going to paint that on top of my Christmas cake. Now very carefully, take your cake and then flip it onto the marzipan. Apricot jam side down. At the corners of the cake, score out a little triangle at each corner in line with the cake. Get rid of your triangles, put them to one side. You might want to eat them later. Take some more of your melted jam, paste that on the side of your cake. This is going to help your marzipan stick to your cake. Don't worry if it's a bit messy at the moment. You are not going to see any of those crumbs under the marzipan. Next, we take our marzipan and just squish it up onto the cake. Do that on all 4 sides. And just pinch the corners together and smooth them down. You can do that with all 4 corners. Go ahead, cut off the excess marzipan. Again, save this. You're going to be hungry later. Take a spare chopping board, pop that on top of your cake, pick up both boards, flip it around. Ta-da! So cake's got his marzipan jacket on. Put that to one side. Am I a tidy baker? Probably not. Next up, icing. So I like to cheat and use ready rolled fondant icing, because when I don't use ready rolled fondant icing, when I roll it out, I tend to get lots of bits of marzipan and Christmas cake in it, and it doesn't end up looking white. So this has worked for me for years, so I'm going to continue. Trick is always trying to get it off this backing paper. Oh, I forgot it comes round. Oh no, it tears. Remember to do this carefully. Ta-da! I'm going to repeat the apricot jam step because I just feel like this step adds more flavour and helps everything stick together. Because the last thing you want is your cake falling to pieces. It's like cement for a cake, but it's jam. I very carefully pick up my cake. I've lined up my cake so the bottom edge is covered by icing. I'm going to have to wobble my cake back right to this edge, because if not, it's not going to cover my whole cake. We're now going to flop the cake onto the icing and put more jam on the sides. So just paste your jam all over the table, but mostly over your cake. I've had too much mulled wine. Same as I did with the marzipan, and cut out triangles at the corners. Again, slide up your icing onto said cake. The icing should stick to the marzipan with the jam, your jam cement. So we can peel this down and the icing should stay. Hurrah! Wow, that's quite sticky. You get rid of these little corners. We're going to need those, I think. This icing is just not quite big enough for this cake. Fold this side up as well. And again, just going to pinch in the sides, realising that there's definitely marzipan on show here, so I'm just going to do some patchwork with some spare bits of icing that's come off. Everyone looks a bit patchwork, don't they? And we'll just try our best to smooth that in. We're going to put so much icing decoration on this, no one's going to notice. It's not even like enough icing to like slice off the excess, really. Maybe a little bit. I don't know how to decorate Christmas cakes. I just know how I like it to look. This is more a tutorial about how I decorate my Christmas cakes. It's probably not how you should decorate yours. I think the trick with fun icing is you really need enough of it, like rolled out enough before you start. We just want to eat Christmas cake. That is the goal of today. Now if that's not your goal, I don't know what to say to you. Do I probably need more of? I need to go maybe heat up some more mulled wine. Maybe that would help. I don't have a proper plate to put my Christmas cake on, so I'm going to use an upside down Pyrex dish with a lid. The lid is going to be my cake base, and then to stop it going mouldy and horrid, I'm going to use the Pyrex over it, like a big giant glass lid. Sounds legit, doesn't it? We're going to plop that right there. Now my lid is on top. I'm going to scoosh under here and just flip it and hope that that's been okay. Da 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 da. Okay, I can live with that. That's fine. It's not the best, smoothest of icing. Maybe I could roll that out better myself. Do you know that? Bit late now. I've already got the icing on there. I'm also going to keep this because I'm sure I'll be able to use it in a future project. I just don't know what yet. I'm going to go and heat up some more mulled wine. Back in a tick. I've got some more mulled wine. The cake is iced. Pretty ropey, but don't you worry, that's going to be fine. So now for the decorations, the best bits. The bit that's time consuming and takes seemingly forever. So I cheated again and bought some red and green icing, because who's got time colour icing when it's so easy to buy? This is the icing I got. We've got some green icing and some red icing. So I'm going to use this to make holly berries and holly leaves. I've got this tiny holly leaf cutter, which I'm going to use to cut the holly leaves. Am I going to need all of this? Oh, it's really soft. Sprinkle down a little bit of flour. Pop my green icing on top. Get yourself a rolling pin. Just going to roll that out the same way I did the marzipan. So I don't want this too thin. Don't want it too thick either. It is less breakable when it's not too thin. Take a bit of parchment. Pop that to the side. Once you cut your holly leaf shapes, you can pop the holly leaves onto your parchment. Like so. Swivel you over this way. Onto the parchment. I think I'm going to probably need about 20 per cake. I'm just going to do a whole load and have a few extra just in case any break. There's a lot of holly leaves. Right. Get rid of all this green. I don't think we're going to need to make any more of those. Before the holly leaves harden, I'm going to take the side of a fork, press that into the middle of the leaf, just to make an indentation, and then gently press up the side in a diagonal off that line, and just put in more little indentions to make it more leaf-like. Just make sure you don't go all the way through the icing. So you've got something that looks slightly more detailed. Now to decorate the leaves further, I'm gonna use the silver glitter spray, cake decor, and we just spray. Beautiful. Now I've got glitter everywhere. I've got some food safe green glitter in the colour Jewel Moss Green. So this is a food safe glitter apparently. I would recommend not eating these leaves, just use them as decoration. I've got a tiny dish of water here and a tiny paintbrush. I'm just going to dip my brush in here. Can I just dip this? I might just put a little bit here. Might be safer. Dog's drinking, fantastic. Might as well have a drink too. And I'm just going to paint that onto my leaves. Mostly in that middle bit and a tiny bit out. Just to give the centre a little bit more definition. Let me show you a bit closer. I'm just going to paint that into the centre of the leaf and out a little bit. I might just paint them all over. Yeah, just coat on the glitter any way you like, I think. I don't know if there's any right or wrong to this. We've done the green glitter. Give it another spray with silver glitter. Try and swipe them on top of this board. Just put the holly leaves to one side to let them dry. Oh my gosh, look at the glitter. Made like little finger snow angels. What is my life turned into? I'm gonna do some cleanup. Be right back. On to the red icing. You're not gonna need much of this. For every holly leaf, you're going to need a holly berry. I'm just gonna take little lumps of this and just roll it in the palm of my hand until I end up with a holly berry. So I want these to be about the size of a pea, and I'm just gonna pop them into this dish. It looks pretty lonely there actually with a little holly berry. Shame. We're gonna fix that in a minute so they don't all stick together. I'm gonna pop in some gold glitter spray, cake decor, same as the silver spray. Just gonna spray this into the bowl. There we go. I'm also gonna use some more of this stuff. Food safe glitter in fire red. Oh, look at this colour. Isn't that beautiful? Gonna sprinkle some of that in here too. So we've got our dust and our glitter in there. Again, wouldn't recommend eating this stuff. I know it says food safe, but I recommend taking these glitter decor items off your cake before you eat it. I'm gonna keep taking tiny little pieces of this and just keep rolling them into holly berries. Lovely. Now I just need about 40 more. This could take some time. I'll drink some mulled wine and listen to some Michael Bublé, and I'll get back to you when I've rolled some more of these. Holly berries are done. To get this effect, I've just rolled them around in that golden red glitter. Let's pop that to one side now and move on to the icing. Oh, we're nearly at a time where we can try the cake, yum. Even on the bottle of the mulled wine it says, what does this pair well with? Mince pies. And I think it would pair very well with Christmas cake also. So I've got a jug full of icing sugar. Pop a bit more in. Beautiful. So I never weigh this bit out. I just kind of go with it and hope for the best. We're also going to add some vanilla bean extract. Maybe a teaspoon. Just put a splash in. Hopefully that wasn't too much. To make my icing, I've got some water here. And I'm just going to slowly drizzle a little bit in and mix it. So I'm just going to mix in the water a little at a time until I get the right consistency. Oh, and if I put too much water in, I'll just add some more icing sugar until it's the right consistency. You don't want it too runny, but you also don't want it too thick so it's difficult to pipe. Looks a bit gloopy at the moment, but just keep mixing until you get the right consistency. So it's got to be runny enough that it pipes out the bag, but stiff enough that it holds its shape, relatively holds its shape. Tiniest bit more, like, was that a mistake? The worst thing is sometimes it's not until I start piping that I'm like, kind of want to see it not falling completely back into the icing. I think that's just about where I want it. Get yourself a piping bag, pop it inside a pint glass. This is the reason I made it in a jug, so it's much easier to pour into my piping bag. Now we've filled up the piping bag with icing. Roll up the overturned edges, scrunch the end of the bag together and twist. We're all ready to ice. Just a really straightforward crisscross pattern, just with lines going straight across my cake and just letting it drip down the other side. Trying to make the top as straight as possible. Oh, that's gone a bit squint, never mind. Something that looks a bit like that. Oh no, I'm gonna have to move this cake so I can see what I'm doing. Oh no, that one went really squint. I'm gonna blame that on the amaretto. I'll try and do that on the other side. My line's getting squinter or smaller, I don't know. Tremendous. Yes. Do I try and do the edges? Maybe I should just try and do the sides. How difficult is that going to be? Oh, is it all going to run? Don't recommend this. Best we can just weak that on, it'll be fine. It's fine, it's fine, it's absolutely fine. Oh no, that's the amaretto right there. Did you see that squintness? That's alcohol's fault. Oh no, this side is terrible. I'm sure the rest of the sides are not this bad. Fix that. Oh no, I made it worse. No! This side's much better, look. Just pretend that's the side I just did. We won't talk about the other side. This one turned out okay as well. I'll try and do my best. Do a very straight lines across here. Is that slightly better? Camera is slightly in my way. This is running like crazy. This side is terrible. That side is terrible. That's not so great either. But the top looks lovely. Is that not the main thing? Note to future self, don't ice the side of the cakes the same way. I think the top of the cake looks really great. It's just the sides that's the problem. We'll cover a lot of it with holly berries and holly leaves. We're gonna need some cocktail sticks and some more icing. I like to decorate while the icing is still wet. We probably should put something right in the centre, shouldn't we? Yeah, let's just do that. Start placing on holly leaves. In the middle of my holly leaves, I'm just going to put a blob of icing. And using a cocktail stick, I'm going to pick up my holly berries, like so. Place 3 of them into that blob of icing. I think you get the gist. Try and get myself in the festive spirit. I feel really disorganised this year for Christmas. Of course, 2020 has been a very bizarre year. I felt like April was about 6 years long. And the rest of the year has literally gone by in a blink. But we're nearly there. We're nearly in 2021. We're going to get through it because we've got no choice. We're going to have to get through it. I'm going to make it through the festive season by eating copious amounts of Christmas cake. Andy doesn't like marzipan, and I really like marzipan. Hence why I like amaretto. I think he just prefers Christmas cake when it's not got marzipan on it. I am going to continue decorating, and I shall show you what it's like when I'm done. Christmas cake is decorated, so there's only one thing left to do. Andy! Yeah. Do I try some cake?
Did somebody say cake?
Ta-da! So do you want to do the honours?
I'm only going to do this for a camera because now I'm going to just have the offcuts because I don't marzipan all over them.
I did tell you guys, didn't I? I was going to say just pick off that bit because they've got too much glitter on them to eat, really.
That's all edible glitter.
I know, but...
Anyway,
probably not.
Give me the thing.
I suppose it is edible glitter, but you know. Cheers! Happy Christmas!
Each to their own.
Shall I try?
I feel like a 3-year-old that's found mummy's wine glass. It's actually remarkably nice.
Do you like it? I'm really shocked. You drink that again?
I wouldn't have a lot of it, but yeah, no, let's go through a bottle with you.
Ooh, excellent. Right, shall we try the cake? Cheers. Cake cheers.
Good.
Alright, so it's relatively successful.
Absolutely.
It's bloody good though, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, touch my cake now, it's covered in marzipan.
I'll have all the offcuts. Do you like icing then?
I might steal some of that marzipan. I love marzipan. I love mulled wine. I love Christmas cake. I also love you.
Oh.
No, Chico, you're no taste testing as well.
No taste testing.
No taste testing for puppies. So, out of 10?
8.
Why 8? It should be a perfect 10! Do you give it minus points for marzipan?
I give it minus points for not being chocolate.
So next year's Christmas cake is just going to be a big fat chocolate cake.
Bar of chocolate and a glass of whiskey.
Excellent. Can't wait to...
No, it's lovely.
Okay, I can cut that out of the video, it's fine, don't worry. If you'd like to see how I made my Christmas cakes and the recipe, I'll put a link up here and in the description box below. If you've enjoyed this video, leave a like, leave a comment, share and subscribe. Of course subscribing is optional, but it is very much appreciated. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye!
See how I made this cake, the recipe's down in the description down below.
I had too much mulled wine.
Few words.
I know, right? Then as I drink some more, I'm like, come on, let's do this. Don't drink any more mulled wine until we finish this bit. Right.